It starts quietly. You are 7 years old, staring into the eyes of a parent who is falling apart. Maybe it is addiction, maybe it is a hollow silence, and without words, something ancient clicks in your small mind. If I do not hold everything together, no one will. This is how a child disappears. Not physically, but psychologically. They smile more, they cry less, they learn to read the room before they speak. They become the emotional thermostat of the household. Small adults, long before their minds are ready, and the world praises them for it. You're so mature, you're so responsible, you're so strong, but no one ever stops to ask, at what cost? This is the invisible grief of those who grew up too fast. And the effects do not vanish with age. They shape you. They follow you into relationships, your career, your sense of worth. And if you do not understand what happened, you will spend your adult life repeating the survival patterns that once saved you, but are now slowly draining you. Let us start with what is really happening. When children are forced to emotionally support adults instead of the other way around, psychologists call this parentification. The child becomes the caregiver, the peacekeeper, the therapist. This is not just unhealthy, it rewires the brain. Because when a child is consistently put in charge of emotional regulation, it creates hypervigilance. You're always scanning for danger. You walk on eggshells in your own home. You learn that love is a transaction. You give peace, and maybe you will get safety. You learn that your needs are dangerous and theirs are urgent. So you disappear, not physically but emotionally. And in your place grows a version of you that performs perfectly. You become the good child, the quiet achiever, the therapist friend, the one who never asks for anything. You wear that identity so convincingly that even you forget it is a mask. But deep down, something hurts, something aches, because the inner child you buried did not die. They are still in there, screaming silently. Why did no one protect me? As you grow older, the symptoms become more complex, more woven into who you are. You might become hyper-independent. You refuse help. You push people away with one hand while longing for them with the other. You might feel numb during happy moments because joy feels unfamiliar, unearned, even dangerous. You might struggle to rest because productivity is the only way you have ever felt worthy of taking up space. And worst of all, you might not even realize you are still stuck in survival mode because when dysfunction is normalized early, your nervous system accepts chaos as its baseline. Stillness feels wrong. Peace feels suspicious. Love feels like a debt you will have to repay. This is not just sadness, it is a complex trauma that reshapes how you view the world, and more importantly, how you view yourself. Now, you may ask, why would any child willingly take on that role? The choice is never conscious, it is biological. In the absence of safety, the child sacrifices authenticity for belonging. That is not weakness, that was intelligence, that was an instinct to survive. But the tragedy is this: what saved you then imprisons you now. So many of us walk around as high-functioning adults with a deeply neglected inner child, pulling the strings from the shadows. We overachieve to earn love. We stay small and quiet to avoid abandonment. We take care of everyone but secretly wish someone would just ask if we are okay. That fantasy, that someone will finally notice you are not as strong as you pretend, that maybe you will get to fall apart and be held, that is the unmet need. Not of your adult self, but of the child who never got to be a child. The first step to healing is not fixing, it is witnessing. Because until you validate what happened, you will keep gaslighting yourself. It was not that bad. Others had it worse. I turned out fine, but fine is a mask too. And deep down, you know it. So what happens to that child when they grow up? They become adults who never feel safe, even in calm rooms. They become lovers who cannot trust softness. They become givers who cannot receive. They become the kind of people who apologize for crying, who flinch at compliments, and who confuse exhaustion with success. This is the cost of growing up too fast. If your childhood trained you to be strong at the expense of being soft, to be quiet instead of honest, to fix others while ignoring your own fractures, then what kind of adulthood do you inherit? You inherit a life where you are always holding your breath, waiting for someone to give you permission to finally fall apart. But here is the truth. No one is coming to rescue the child you buried. You are the one who must go back and hold their hand. You are the one who must say what no one else ever said. You did not deserve that. You are just a child. You get to rest now. This is the beginning. Not fixing, not performing, not pretending the pain is not there, but turning toward the abandoned parts of yourself and saying, I see you now. I hear you, and I am not leaving. This is the reparenting process, and it is brutal because it asks you to feel the grief you never had time to feel. It asks you to sit with the rage, the sorrow, the unmet needs, to weep for the birthdays where no one showed up, to mourn the innocence you lost while protecting people who should have protected you. But that grief, it is not weakness. It is proof that you are healing, because what was once frozen is finally, slowly, beginning to thaw. One of the most powerful things you can do is ask that inner child, what did I need back then that I never got? You may hear answers like, I needed someone to tell me it was not my fault. I needed someone to ask how I was doing. I needed to play. I needed to rest. And slowly, very slowly, you begin to give those things to yourself. Not to fix your past, but to stop reliving it every single day. This is how you stop seeking a parent in your partner. This is how you stop mistaking anxiety for intuition. This is how you stop running from the child you were and start walking with the self you are becoming. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were before the world told you who you had to be. So if you are someone who grew up too fast, know this. Your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. But now you do. You can choose softness. You can choose to rest. You can choose to stop managing everyone else's emotions and start honoring the quiet beat of your own. It will not happen overnight. There will be days you feel like a child again. Good. Let that child come home. Let them cry. Let them be seen. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. And maybe for the first time, you are finally growing up the right way. Not through pressure, not through fear, but through truth. You never had a childhood, but you still have a future, and this time you get to write it.